The 6th anniversary Fusion event is live in Raid. Lord Fabian is here, and we're going to break this down for you. My name is PJ. Welcome back to another Raid Legends video, and let's get right into it. So today is Monday the 10th, the first day of the Fusion. And one thing that I noticed right away that I really like about this Fusion, where they don't usually do this in a lot of other Fusions, is they start the Dungeon Divers and the Dragon Tournament off in the same day. So what you'll notice in a lot of previous Fusions is one of them will start a little bit later. So either the Dragon will start on Tuesday, and the DD will start on Monday, or the Dragon will start on Monday and the DD will start on Tuesday. So ideally you want to wait until they overlap, but this is even better because you don't have to wait. You can just start right off the rip, start doing your Dungeon Divers, Dragon, and if you're lucky enough to be able to do some champion training in your Dragon, then you can triple dip, which is even better. So definitely first day want to start doing some Dragon, DD, champ training. We do have a CVC starting Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be a personal reward CVC. Dragon isn't necessarily the best dungeon to give you CVC points. They kind of give you half the amount of every other dungeon, which is kind of messed up. Every other dungeon, highest dungeon, will give you 400 for the top stage, where Dragon gives you 200. So not necessarily the best dungeon to be farming during CVC. So maybe try to knock some of it out early, and then you can finish the rest of the DD with like a spider, which is a little bit better for points and what a lot of people do during CVC for silver. Early on looks pretty reasonable. You have the gear enhancement starting on Wednesday, which also overlaps with the CVC at the end. You'll be getting a lot of silver from doing Dragon, from doing champion training if you're doing campaigns, selling the shields and all you're getting in there. Generally it's like 15 million silver per each artifact enhancement, which you'll be getting along the way, so make sure you guys are saving silver. Ice Golem, it looks like it maybe barely overlaps with the Dungeon Divers, but I wouldn't really bank on that too much. If it overlaps a little bit, then you can try to end the Dungeon Divers with a little bit of Ice Golem, but most likely you're going to want to save this for the second DD. So this is what I'm talking about, or this is what I was talking about earlier, which what they usually start with is they'll start with the Ice Golem or start with the Dragon, and then they'll wait for the DD to start. So here you'd want to wait until this DD starts unless you need to finish with this and it overlaps, but generally you'd want to wait this one day until Friday to overlap. So we got the Summon Rush here. This is where the first part of you needing to pull some shards. I do like that the Summon Rush is in the front and the Champion Chase is in the back half, and I say that because this is a classic fusion, so you're going to need to fuse up the epics and then fuse the epics into the Lego before the time runs out. So you can overlap this with the Champion Chase to get some extra points. There's also a CVC happening right here Tuesday, so you can get some points for CVC if you don't want to get the Champion Chase points. You're still going to need to get the rare in order to get the fusion, but I'm saying you can get some extra points, like maybe like a legendary book or some of the higher end rewards if you do choose to pull the fusion during the Champion Chase. But it's more important because you can, like I said, you can pull the epics and you can craft the rares and the epics for it, which is going to give you some extra points. They might inflate the points a little bit knowing that people are going to do that, which I don't like. I wish they would it would be a benefit for players that are smart enough and realize that they can save the resources and save the epics and fuse them during that, instead of making it so like you have to do it, and if you don't then you're really getting screwed. But generally I do like the Champion Chases in the back half. So back to the Summon Rush. Summon Rush you're gonna usually do with Sacreds. Recommend Sacreds, saving Sacreds for these. I think this is gonna overlap with either 2x Voids or Ancients, which is gonna be interesting. This also has a chance of getting an epic. You don't need to get this epic. You can skip this and do every single event and you'll still be able to do the fusion completely fine. But if you want to get an extra copy of the epic and you think the epic is pretty good, don't think it's a bad idea to get an extra copy if you have the resources. But if you don't want to get an extra copy, you just want to get this copy and skip for other events, that is also doable. So you can get this Summer Rush and then skip this Champion Chase tournament, skip a DD. If you're low on silver, you can skip gear enhancements, but generally I think people's champion trainings and DDs, those are usually the roughest, or the other summoning event as well. That is very much most likely skippable if you're going to do the Summon Rush. So definitely the Champion Chase you can skip, but let's just say in theory you had a ton of shards and you didn't want to skip the Champion Chase, you could skip other events and still do the Champion Chase. I would assume the Summon Rush is going to be around 10 to 12 Sacreds to get the epic. It is a Void, so it might be a little bit on the higher side, maybe closer to 12, but I would assume around 10 to 12 Sacreds to get the epic, which isn't necessarily the worst if it means you can skip other events. If you can skip this Champion Chase, you can skip the Dungeon Divers, you can skip 2 Dungeon Divers, you could honestly skip all 3 Dungeon Divers, the Champion Chase, and be just fine if you get the epic. And these are obviously your choice depending on what you need and what resources you have or don't have on your account. You might change depending, but I know a lot of people struggle with the DD because those are usually a lot of energy. So depending on how many points, this could be worth it, could be not worth it. It does give you some wiggle room if you decide to get the epic. So we talked about the Ice Golem overlapping the DD, Classic Arena, that's easy. Try to hit the one-person defenses. So here we come up with the second champion training. There's only 2 champion trainings here. It does overlap with Spider, which a lot of people can solo or duo Spider and get some getting champion training done while doing spider. Looks like it kind of overlapped with the DD, but not really, which kind of stinks. It looks like this is kind of on its own. So do be careful about that. There's not really much of a DD to overlap because it doesn't overlap with the third DD. The Fire Knight overlaps with the third DD. So just a little note just to make sure that you guys are seeing that there's not really any overlap with the spider. Fire Knight overlaps with the DD. That's perfect. Then we got the champion chase, the second classic arena. So only 2 classic arenas, and then third gear enhancement. I think generally looking pretty easy. Obviously depends on how the points are and what kind of points requirement they have. But just looking at the Fusion calendar straight up and not looking at how many points, I would say pretty good. There's a lot of overlapping. The only thing that doesn't really overlap is this Spire tournament with a DD, which is kind of unfortunate. And it looks like this Ice Golem tournament doesn't really overlap with the first one, but does overlap with the second one, so that's not too bad. But overall, pretty good. Let me know what you guys think, if this is going to be easy, going to be hard, but generally I'm looking at it pretty good. I do like that they put the champion chase in the back like I mentioned earlier. I think that is really important because often they'll put it in the front, which kind of hurts because you can only do like 1 epic fusion, where at the end you can try to do 3 or 4 epic fusions to get more points. And then again, I really was shocked about this dungeon diver starting with the dragon. Very often they make you wait to use your resources if you want to optimally get the most bang for your buck. So it's good to see that they're starting off on the same. Maybe this is changes in the future that they're going to do for more fusions. I hope so. MTG is going to be acquiring the company soon, I think at the end of March, which is pretty exciting. I'm hoping with them acquiring it and officially getting their hands on Polarium and Raid, they're going to be bringing some more good changes to the game. But this is all good stuff. I'm very happy to see this. So hopefully you guys are also happy to see this. I think he's definitely worth going for. He looks very strong for all kinds of accounts: early game, mid game, end game, late game. I think this dude will help you out and could be very strong. The lockout, the true fears, petrification, the extra turn capabilities, decreasing the duration of buffs without being able to get sheeped is really nice, or weak hitting is really nice. So definitely looks like you should be going for him, in my opinion. The biggest thing about this Summoner Rush is going to be how many points it is. I'm going to have to see how many points before I decide if I'm going to go for it or not. And I have the Sacreds. I have a lot of them because I'm very picky about when I pull them. I don't buy them, I only save them. So people are like, oh my, you have so many Sacreds. It's like, yeah, I have so many Sacreds, but it's because I'm super picky and I don't just pull them willy-nilly. So we'll see if I'm going to do the extra one or not. If it makes me be able to skip some other things on the line, which it would be able to, it kind of opens up some possibilities and doors. And just getting a second copy. I don't think I personally need a copy of this epic, but if you're an early game, mid game player not able to do the fusion, then I would highly recommend trying to get at least 1 or 2 copies for Faction Guardians, for Faction Wars, building up the roster. The epic looks very solid even if you aren't able to complete the fusion. So that's another tip. If you're not able to complete the fusion, the legendary fusion, then try to get at least 1 of the epics. There is 1 or 2 other things I wanted to mention. This doesn't really have to do with the fusion itself, but kind of just some other good things I wanted to say that Raid's been doing. Like last month, they took out the gold essence here and they put in silver essence, which is kind of a big hit. This is a good way of getting some gold essence pretty easily during tag team, and randomly they said, nope, no more gold essence, you're getting silver essence, and there wasn't really any explanation or news about why they did it or hey, we did it. It just kind of just happened in the game, and it looks like, at least for now, they put back the gold essence, so that's actually very pog. I'm so happy about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is they put in the CVC, the clan versus clan, in the personal rewards, they put some relics for the arena. I think these are arena relics. I might be doing my math wrong, but there's 1 PR CVC generally every month. It goes, generally speaking, we'll say PR, and then the next week there's Siege, and then after Siege it'll be a non-PR, and then it'll be Siege again. So usually, unless it's a special case, there's usually 1 PR and 1 non-PR CVC a month. So that means you need to win both PR CVCs every 2 months. So I mean, like, it's gonna take you 2 months pretty much to get 1 of the legendary crafting materials, and I think that's kind of too much. I don't know, I think 1 a month would be completely fine. I know they're trying to slowly drip this into the game and kind of slowly introduce these, and they don't want to just rush in and be like, here you go, everyone can get them now, but I don't know, I feel like it's kind of too slow. 1 every 2 months seems very unnecessary. I think 1 a month would be fine. That's also if you win the PR. If you're not winning the PR, then you're not getting these. That also kind of brings me to another topic. Maybe I could do a whole separate video on this, but I think that if they got rid of the non-PR CVCs and you just made every single CVC a PR, it would kind of balance out the game a little bit more. And I say that because a lot of unbalancing in CVC is because of the matchmaking, and people are purposefully trying to get lower points during the non-PRs to set up for a PR. So if there was always a PR and no non-PRs, then clans wouldn't really need to or want to get lower points to try to get ready for the PR, because everyone's going to be a PR. So either you're going to win it and you're going to get some stuff, or you don't win it and you try to win the next one. But it's not like you have to be like, okay, so this is a non-PR, no one's going to play the game, we're going to try to get as lowest points as possible so we get into a good spot for the PR, because that's what's really messing up the matchmaking. It's very hard for them to have accurate matchmaking in this game. If you go off of PP, that can be very inflated up or down. If you go off of clan power, stuff like that, it's kind of tough. So they generally been going off of previous CVC scores, but that's very easily manipulated. So if there's only PRs, I think that less clans would manipulate the way that the clans worked and would be better for the game. So that's just another little tidbit that I thought was interesting. But yeah, I don't know, when I saw that it was going to take you 2 months of also winning the PR to get these, to get one summon of a legendary, I thought it might be a little too much. But let me know what you guys think in the comments as well on this. I know this is a little bit off topic of the fusion, but I just saw this and thought it would be interesting to put that in there as well. So please leave a like, leave a comment and what you guys thought. If you guys are going for this fusion, not going for this fusion, I think a lot of people are going to go for this fusion. I'd highly recommend going for it. He looks very, very good. And also, please let me know what you guys think about the CVC stuff I mentioned there at the end. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.